How are we, guys? All UCB. Merry Christmas to you all. I hope you all had a fantastic day yesterday, and we are straight back into it. We are straight back into the footy is back. It's been a long week. It has been a very, very long week, guys. Let's be honest. But thankfully, we have got another game coming up since that last one, which is something that we can all be thankful for anyway. But guys, before we start, make sure you smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get some comments in, guys. Let's get some comments, your feelings going into this game against Burnley. Because look, it's I've seen a couple of comments early doors here saying it's going to be a really tough fixture, and I can't disagree with that. I can't disagree with that at all. Make sure you smash the like button, guys, and subscribe if you haven't done already. And yeah, get some comments in, guys. Let's get some comments. Get a bit of a chat going. I'm only going to make this quite a short video. Of course, as usual, me and Joe Wayman and Tash will be on the watch along tomorrow as well. But yeah, guys, let's get some comments in. First of all, as well, guys, please tell me this sounds okay. When it's just me on my own, I always get a bit paranoid about the sound. Let me know if there's any problems with the sound, guys, and that'd be much appreciated. But look, I think obviously look at this game against Burnley. I think the team news first of all. Obviously, we know Liam Cooper's out of this game. It's a massive blow. That's a massive blow in that sense. You want your leader in a game like this. We've just lost 6-2. To our biggest rivals going into this game. You want your biggest leader in this game. But look, it's a blow. It is a blow. That's undeniable. But it looks like it's going to be Struick and Llorente possibly as the centre-back partners tomorrow, or possibly Aylin and Llorente tomorrow with Alioski keeping his place in the team. So it's an interesting one from that point of view. Let me know, guys, what would you prefer to see? Because it sounds like 3 of the back 4 has effectively been decided. Dallas, Aylin, Llorente. Would you go Struick or Alioski? Let's get some comments in, guys. For me, I would personally go with Struick. I think obviously it's a big debate. It's a debatable point. Look, Alioski, for me, had a poor game against Man United. There's no doubt about it. He's done okay at left back. Some decent games, some bad games. But for me, ultimately, I don't think he's the left back in the back 4 or back 3, whatever way you want to put it. I don't see him as a left back, to be honest. We know Burnley play with 2 strikers. We know they're going to have Barnes and Wood up top. So will we possibly drop into a 3? That's what Bielsa normally does. Normally when the opposition goes with 2 strikers, we drop into a back 3. So it'd be interesting if we do that. We didn't do it against Newcastle. We didn't do it against West Ham. In fact, was it West Ham? In fact, whoever it was. I was trying to think what other game it was. The last couple of games have played where teams have played 2 strikers, but we haven't tended to do it. We haven't tended to drop into the back 3 shape. So that's interesting from that point of view. As Molly says here, wouldn't start Llorente, which is an interesting one. For me, I look at Llorente and think, obviously, look, it's very early on in his Leeds career. And, ideally, we'd want to get him into the system, bedded into the system, and just ease him into it. But I think with obviously injuries, for me, I do want to see Llorente starting this game. I'll be honest, I want to see Struick starting this game as well because of his height against Chris Wood, against Ashley Barnes. We know this Burnley team, it doesn't play expansive football. It plays long balls into the 2 strikers, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that. Burnley play the style they play because it suits them. It suits the players they've got. And for me, Burnley, to be fair, they started the season very badly. I think it'd been start of the season would have been a good time to play Burnley. The last couple of games, they've done really well. I can't deny that. Burnley have done really well last couple of games. Against Wolves, watched the highlights of that game, and Burnley were dominant. Burnley were very, very dominant in that game. So for me, the height is a massive issue for us. And I think we've got to go Struick from that sense. I think Llorente is nice and aggressive as well. So for me, I look at Struick and Llorente and think, look, it's not our first choice centre-back pairing, but I think they've got it's a good combination because they've got different profiles in terms of how they play. Struick, the height, good on the ball, and he's able to kind of cover the wide areas. He's able to move out of his position and cover a lot of space. Llorente is a little bit more immobile in that sense. He's a little bit more like Coops in the sense that he kind of sticks to his position. He kind of leads from the front in that sense. He kind of organises everyone else around him. He's certainly what we saw from Llorente at Sociedad in that sense. So it's an interesting one. And to be fair, it's a really interesting one. What angle Bielsa's going to go with it from? Because obviously we know it's been a critical week for Bielsa. He's had a lot of criticism this week. I think the vast majority of it is completely unfair for me. Just seeing Crystal Palace lose 3-0 against a 10-man Aston Villa. I mean, there's not a chance Roy Hodgson's going to get even a tenth of the criticism that Marcelo Bielsa's received in last week. And that's part and parcel of having a world-class manager on your books. That's part and parcel of it. He's going to be criticised heavily when results go wrong. Whether that's right or wrong, I personally think it's wrong, because for me, the game was the game. We played a quality team last weekend and we got beat heavily. It was one of those things. It's just the nature of how we play our football. But the fact, you've seen other teams have bad results and you're not really seeing the same levels of criticism. It's disappointing. But look, it's something we've got to accept. But hopefully it's going to be something that brings us closer together as a team. Fans and the team close together. We bond together because of this. It's us against the world to an extent at the minute. In terms of the criticism, Bielsa has received pretty much since the Chelsea game, to be honest. Though obviously it really, really exploded after that Man United game, but I think it's been there in the background really since Chelsea. Not from the Leeds angle. Let's be honest. No one within the Leeds angle is criticising Marcelo Bielsa. It'd be foolish to do that. Why was we criticise Marcelo Bielsa? But outside of Ellen Road at the minute, outside Leeds United circles, there's a lot of criticism going for Marcelo Bielsa. And look, it's part and parcel, but I don't know. I think it's incorrect for me. I think a lot of the criticism that he's receiving is incorrect. This idea that we play too open, we go for it too much, we're naive. We've actually conceded, I think, 13 goals from open play this season, so 1 a game. And you're looking at teams like Crystal Palace, Sheffield United, I think they're on about 20 goals conceded from open play. So that suggests to me that that's not true. That's not true. Our big problem defensively at the moment is set pieces. Every single game without fail, I think since Everton, we've conceded from a set piece. So effectively, we're going into games and we're conceding a goal already, from a set piece. We've got to find a way of resolving that. And for me, Pascal Struijk is a start to that solution. And look, it's not Bielsa, it's just the general makeup of the squad. We're losing Robin Koch, massive blow. I think when Robin Koch was in the team, there was a little problem on set pieces, but I think since he's come out of the team, injured, it's become a massive problem. It's just exploded. It's absolutely exploded, guys. I know there was a problem before Robin Koch, when he was in the team with set pieces, but since he's come out, it's just exploded like mad. It's exploded like mad. We've just got to find a solution, because you look at Burnley. They're one of the last teams you want to play in terms of on set pieces. You've got Barnes, Wood, Tarkowski, me. They've got good delivery into the box as well. So it's a tough game from that sense. I think it is, as Tim Smith says, I think set pieces is our downfall. I can't have much criticism on this team in terms of open play. We created a lot of chances against Manchester United on Sunday. Yes, we didn't defend at all well. We were terrible defensively, to be honest, on Sunday. Against Newcastle, we weren't great defensively either. But in terms of the general play, I thought both games were okay. I thought we were okay in both games. Look, there's bits we've got to do better. Certain periods of games we've got to manage better. But let's not forget, we're still a newly promoted team. I feel like we're held to these such high standards now, in terms of how we started the season. And look, get your comments in, guys. Am I being too generous here? But for me, I just think we're just being generally unlucky in a couple of games, in terms of set pieces, not having Koch in the team, Coops is missing. It's just been a bit of a struggle for us in that sense, and I can't just blame it on one thing. I think it's just too simple to blame it on one thing at this minute in time. But then, you look at it. Obviously, just looking at what else I want to go through actually on this preview. Keep your comments coming in, guys. Keep your comments coming in. Obviously, what's going to be our probable Leeds team going into this game? Well, I mean, obviously, the usual suspects: Bamford, Rodrigo, Click, Harris and Rafinha are probably what the usual front five is. Obviously KP probably covering that. And then from there, it's going to be interesting. I think it's just the defence, which is going to be the interesting thing. I expect everything else to stay the same, because from Marcelo Bielsa's point of view, we've created so many chances. Even on this poor run of form, we've still created a lot of chances with that front five. It's still combining well. Yes, Rodrigo and Click were awful against Man United. I can't put any other word for it. They were awful against Man United. By their own admission, they were awful against Man United. I'm sure if you asked them, they'd say the same thing. And look, Jack Harrison wasn't great against Man United, but still as a unit, it still works really well. We press from the front. We create chances from our pressing. We play with intensity. Fitness levels are spot on. I think we've still got to go with that same front five. I can't see that changing at all. I've seen mentions about, could we try this player here, this player there? I see no reason to do that. Let's not forget, we've just scored, before this game against Man United, 5 goals against Newcastle. Newcastle set up in a very similar way to Burnley. Very similar way. I see no reason, other than just maybe at the back, bringing in a little bit more height to to massively change things. Certainly going forward, I see no reason to change things at all. I think going forward, we can cause this Burnley team problems. It's the other way that I worry about at the minute. I think Burnley, in terms of control, I think they've shown that little bit more control to their play last couple of games. And Ashley Westwood has been a big player for them last couple of games. And yeah, obviously, they use the wide area as well. Charlie Taylor gets forward well, a player we know a lot about, as is Chris Wood. A player we know a lot about. And I just want to thank you guys as well for your Christmas wishes as well. I hope you all have had a fantastic Christmas, guys. I hope you have had a fantastic Christmas. It does feel really strange, to be fair, not playing on Boxing Day. I can't remember the last time Leeds didn't play on Boxing Day. It does seem a bit strange. But anyway, it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. We are back underway midday tomorrow as well, aren't we? But yeah, I've seen Tim saying potentially starting Pablo. I mean, obviously Pablo, I was disappointed he didn't come on against Man United, if I'm being honest. I can understand why he didn't. I think obviously Shackleton and Struick were put in, presumably just for being a little bit more solid and trying to stop it getting any worse than it did. But for me, yeah, it's an interesting one. Would I start Pablo? Would I start Pablo tomorrow? I think for me, looking at it, Tim, I look at it from that sense and say Pablo coming on with 20 minutes to go will probably be better than starting this game, if in that sense. I think obviously, it's been a while since Pablo started the game. I think since Leicester, I think it was. Leicester, I think it was his last start, and that's almost 2 months ago. I think in terms of how we've played in terms of in the second third and the final third, I think it's been okay. I think we've done okay. We've created chances. We've had decent spells of control. I wouldn't change anything in terms of the midfield. But having said that, if we are chasing the game, we saw what Pablo did against Newcastle, 2 assists in 8 minutes. Why not? Why not? Obviously bring him on. 20, 25 minutes to go. I think he probably, you look at how Burnley play. They don't concede a lot of chances. They are very solid, very compact, very difficult to play through. Maybe we will need to change things up. But for me, I wouldn't change the starting 11 in terms of the forward players. I wouldn't make any changes to that. I think we've got a good balance in that sense. But in terms of a plan B, if we are struggling to break Burnley down, create chances or chasing the game, Pablo coming on for Rodrigo or Click or maybe KP, that could make sense. Definitely makes sense. It's definitely something I'd look at, to be fair. Obviously, you've got people like Ian Paveda who can come on. We've got a lot of options in terms of in the forward areas. I've seen a lot of criticism for this Leeds team in terms of it's naive going forward. I mean, no, it's not. It's got fantastic options. It creates chances. It dominates games, spells of games, and that's what it does. It's like that Newcastle game's just being forgotten now. That Newcastle game's just been completely forgotten. But it's an interesting one off Wayne here. For me, that'd be a big boost to us. If Dwight McNeil and Robbie Brady are out, I think obviously they love putting balls into the box from the wide areas. McNeil is the most creative player in that sense. I do like Dwight McNeil, to be honest. I think he's a very, very good player. I think obviously Robbie Brady's got a fantastic left foot, fantastic delivery from the other side. And they're putting balls into the box for Woods and Barnes. And Burnley aren't fools. Sean Dyche isn't a fool. He'll know how he can hurt this Leeds team, putting balls into the box, getting set pieces, just trying to create danger in those situations. He will know that. And it's another game, really, this one, guys, where we're going to have a lot of possession. We're going to have about, 60, 70% of the ball again. Probably have twice as many shots, but that might not mean much because Burnley make it very difficult to kind of hurt them in that sense. They protect the box very well. Obviously Tarkowski, very good penalty box defenders. They make vital last-minute blocks all the time. I think especially Tarkowski. Guys, Joe is back on the watch along. Joe's just having a little break from the channel, which is absolutely fair enough because Joe, to be fair, last 4 or 5 months has just been relentless on this channel, to be fair to him, 24/7. We can let Joe off. We can let Joe off with a little break anyway, guys. But he will be back. He will be back, like the Terminator, tomorrow for the watch along, guys. Seen a couple of questions about Mr. Wayman. I'm sure he has had a fantastic Christmas as well. But guys, it'd be a massive boost that, if Brady and McNeil are injured. I'll be honest, I hadn't seen anything about that. I did do a bit of research going into this game, looking at Sean Dyche's press conference, and there wasn't really any mention of Robbie Brady or McNeil or any potential injuries. So that's an interesting one in that sense. And it will be. That's the thing. I think the big thing really is It'll be a game of, can we break Burnley down? We know what Burnley can do. Long balls off the goal kicks. They're not going to try and play through us. It's not what Burnley do. Long balls into Wood and Barnes. We're probably not going to win the first ball. We're not going to beat Wood or Barnes in the air. But can we win the second ball? That's what I'm asking. Can we win that second ball? When Wood flicks it onto Barnes, Barnes flicks it onto Wood, can we win that second ball? That's the most important thing for me. I think obviously the height at the back, we can't really do anything about. We can't do anything about until January. We're still only 2 games, to be fair, away from January. We've just got to try and get through these 2 games, and then we can regroup. We can look at January, say, okay, we need to recruit these players, we need to loan out these players, etc., and we can judge it from there. But it is a tough one, isn't it? It's a tough one. But for me, from what Bielsa has said, I would expect to see Rente start in this game as kind of a direct like-for-like Liam Cooper replacement. And then it feels like it'll be Struijk or Alioski. Obviously, a lot of you guys have said Struijk for his height, which I've got to agree with. I think Struijk's done okay at centre-back. I mean, he solves a bit of the height problem. I don't think Struijk on his own can solve the whole problem. I don't think anyone on their own can solve the whole problem. So obviously, I know set pieces, I mean, every comment's pretty much mentioning the set pieces. I know it's a worry. It's a worry, the set pieces, isn't it? It's probably Burnley's main chances against us will probably come from set pieces. We know that coming into this. But from open play, I think it's a game that we can try and control large spells of, to be fair. I think we can try and control large spells of this game. But yeah, guys, get some predictions in. Matthew's gone for 3-1. I'd love that. If we can get some goals against this Burnley team, because that's not going to be easy. It's not an easy game, guys. It's not an easy game at all. I think Burnley 4 games unbeaten, beat Arsenal the other week. Yeah, I know everyone's beating Arsenal, to be fair, aren't they, at the minute? But yeah, obviously beating Wolves as well. That's a really good win. They were dominant in that game too. So yeah, I think Mark Jones, 2-0. Oh, I'd love that. Imagine the boost if we get a clean sheet from this game. Imagine the boost that would be if we do get a clean sheet. Tim Smith's gone 2-0. Bamford's scored the 2. Yeah, that's an interesting one as well. Just to win. A win would be fantastic. It's be a really good game to win. It won't be easy by any stretch of the imagination. Logan's gone 2-1. So you guys seem pretty positive going into this, to be fair. I think obviously after Man United, it'd be understandable if there'd be some nerves going into this one. That's understandable. But for me, I think it's just about just getting on that pitch as quickly as possible since that Man United game and just getting that out of our system now. It's been one really bad game. Everything's gone wrong that could have gone wrong. And yeah, as Lidl says, I'd take a 1-0 home goal. But yeah, a clean sheet, guys. I think the clean sheet would be a massive boost as well. And that's just what it's all about, really. But yeah, I think, to be fair, everyone's gone for a win, which is good. Great to see. It's great to see. I don't think anyone's underestimating Burnley. There is quality in that team. I think obviously very much a 4-4-2 based kind of system they play. So yeah, we just, obviously the wide areas is the concern. For me, looking at those wide areas, the way they attack them, obviously you've got Barnsley on one side, Taylor on the other. I think Taylor, especially on that left, attacks that left channel quite well. So for me, I'd love to see Ayling right back, Dallas left back. That's another reason why, for me, you've got to have Struijk playing centre back, because if you play Struijk centre back, that means we can then move Ayling back to right back, Dallas back to left back, where they're both better. They're both much better at right back and left back. And for me, that helps us a lot in the wide areas, because Burnley tends to create most of their chances in open play from crosses into the box. From those players I mentioned before, crossing the ball simply into Wood and Barnes. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not criticising Burnley's style of play, but we know what we're going to face against them. We know exactly what we're going to face against them. As Lee Lord says as well, not only are they good defensively, very good defensively, to be fair, one of the best teams in terms of in this bottom 10, in terms of defensive, stopping teams from creating chances, staying compact, and making it really restricting the spaces between the lines. The defence and midfield stay very close together. They make it very hard to play the ball into and create chances against. And obviously, Nick Pope has been very good this season. I'm not sure if he's England's number 1, but he's a good goalkeeper. He's definitely a contender for goalkeeper. But Alisson and Marty Adams are a surprise. And our good friends Alisson and Marty Adams, they've gone 1-1. That's the first non-Leeds win, to be fair, that someone's predicted today. But yeah, fair enough. I think obviously it's one of those games where you look at, just don't lose. That's the kind of thing. Don't lose it, because obviously losing it, I don't want to sound like I'm stating the obvious here, but I'm going to do it anyway. If we do that, we just kind of bring the other teams into it then. I know a lot of the results have gone for us today, but if we lose the game, we bring teams back into us. But if we draw it, or even better, win the game, which I think we're thoroughly capable of doing, I think we make it the job much easier in terms, because I'm not too worried about the bottom three, but obviously if you lose a game like that, and obviously got West Brom coming up next, the nerves start kicking in. Obviously. But for me, in terms of the rest of the bottom 10, the teams down there at the minute, I think we're far better going forward. Obviously, as Matthew says, Diego apparently is back for this game, which is a boost for me. I think that's definitely a boost. And I think obviously, as Pete says as well, that's what it's all about, just righting the wrongs really of the last couple of games. And this is probably not one of the games you want to play after Man United, because Burnley make it very difficult to play through. They're very compact, very difficult to play through, and very stubborn as well. They're good at soaking up pressure, and they're just a very well drilled team really. I think Sean Dyche is the top manager. Obviously in terms of footballing philosophy, it's a total opposite end of the scales of Marcelo Bielsa. Obviously Sean Dyche said in his press conference this week that he didn't think Bielsa was particularly result focused. Again, I'm hoping those words are taken out of context, because I can assure you Marcelo Bielsa is very result focused. You have to look at his career and say that's the case. So I thought that was a bit of a strange thing to quote, but I could kind of understand the angle he was going at, in the sense that Dyche isn't really bothered about really putting on and entertaining products on the pitch. And a lot of managers think that way. It's very results-based now, the English game at the minute. And you've seen that really with the Bielsa criticism. But as Tim Smith says, Burnley, they're no walkover. They're absolutely no walkover. This isn't going to be a game of, I know they're below us in the table, but this is not a simple game in any sense, really. But guys, keep your comments coming in. Again, a couple of mentions about Pablo. For me, I'd still keep Pablo on the bench. Maybe not West Brom, but in this game, I'd keep the midfield the same. I wouldn't change the balance in the midfield. I think it's working fine. And I'd probably bring Pablo on first if things are going wrong or we need to create chances. There's been mention about Tomori from Chelsea. I think that's an interesting one. I like Tomori, to be fair. I think he's nice and aggressive, good in the air, physical, good on the ball, really decent defender, to be fair, for Tomori. So that'd be an interesting one. Would Lampard loan out to us? I don't know. I think that's probably part of the problem maybe behind that one. But in terms of quality, from what I've seen of Tomori, again, not seen him for a while, to be fair. Probably the last time I really saw him week in, week out was probably at Derby, in that sense, when obviously we were both in the Championship. He looked good there. He did okay last season from what I've heard. So that'd be an interesting one. But obviously we've got to make do without for now, if we are deciding to bring in the centre back. As Charlie Wilkinson, that's all I can kind of say. Let's have a look. That's a brilliant comment, this, of Charlie Wilkinson. It's annoying how much stick we're getting by pundits. No one was criticising when we were beating matching City or battering Newcastle or beating Everton. That's the point. 10 days ago, we beat Newcastle 5-2 and played them off the park for 90 minutes. Everton, less than a month ago, we played off the park and beat 1-0. It's not that long ago. This team still produces absolutely top quality football. I watched moments of that second half against Man United, and I was actually, bearing in mind the result, I wasn't that horrified. At times in that second half, because we were producing chances. It was a lot more even that second half. And look, it wasn't good enough, the game. It wasn't good enough, that game on Sunday. In terms of how we defended, it just wasn't good enough. But the criticism is way over the top for me. Not within Leeds fans. I mean, outside of our circles, it's just way over the top. Outside of Ellen Road at the minute. But we've got to accept that. It's part and parcel of the game. We're a big club, got a world-class manager. We've got to accept that. And, in that sense, I think obviously we've just got to accept that, really, and just hope we can produce a top-level performance tomorrow. Obviously there's mention about Pablo leaving. I don't really buy into this, to be honest. I can't see that. I think obviously the impact Pablo had against Newcastle, the whole quality of Pablo Hernandez, the whole work he did to get us out of the Championship, I can't see him dropping back into the Championship after 6 months. I can't see that, to be honest, guys. I'd like to think that's the case. And I would be disappointed if Pablo left, because I think from a purely footballing point of view, Pablo's a quality player. I think he's an absolute quality player. There's no doubt about that for me. And it's just one of those things, really. I think obviously being clinical is important tomorrow, because we're not going to create Man United, Newcastle, Everton allows us a lot of space. Burnley won't do that. Burnley won't do that at all. You know, they really do sit in deep. They are happy to defend their own penalty area. You know, they've got good penalty box defenders, as I've already mentioned. We've got to take our chances tomorrow. You know, it's one of those games where I can see it being a 1-0 either way. I can genuinely see that. I can see it being quite similar to the Wolves game in the sense, you know, that Wolves game, if you remember, a couple of months back, where we dominated it in the first half, didn't score, and then obviously Wolves, you know, came back in the second half, full of confidence because they soaked up pressure pretty well. And yeah, you know, in that sense, obviously Wolves won the game, but I can see a similar kind of game against Burnley. But can we be more clinical? You know, can we be more clinical? It's definitely an interesting one in that sense, guys. And you know, I think, you know, we've just got to just keep the faith, really. You know, it's a big 3 or 4 days for us. I'm confident we can put in some good performances. I'm going to leave it there, guys, anyway, because there is some footy coming up at 5:30. I'm sure some of you guys will be wanting to watch it. So I'm not going to keep you anyway, guys, but make sure you check out the watch along tomorrow. Of course, post-match reviews, plenty of content next couple of days because we've got game after game after game after game after game. I think it's 3 games now in 7 days. Can't wait for it. As Ruff says as well, let's not forget we are welcoming our former players as well. Obviously, Charlie Taylor left on bad terms, as we all know. Chris Wood didn't leave on the best of terms either, but both were very good footballers for us. And look, you know what it's like. You know what the headlines will be, and we just can't make sure that doesn't happen. I mean, I can't be doing that headline. Oh man, if Taylor crossed it into Wood and then, can't be doing that. Can't let it happen, guys. Can't let Charlie Taylor whipping balls into the box with Chris Wood. We saw him do it for like 2 years with Chris Wood. We can't let that happen tomorrow. And that is Burnley's main method of chance creation, as well as the set pieces. Chris Wood getting on the end of Charlie Taylor's crosses. And there's nothing wrong with our Burnley play. I'm going to keep emphasising that. I'm not criticising Burnley, but it is quite simple how they play anyway, guys. And we've just got to make sure we show our quality at the end of the day. Clinical, show our quality. And yeah, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Anyway, it's been half an hour. And yeah, make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. A couple of new subscribers have joined us already. And yeah, hope you had a good Christmas. And yeah, you had a good time anyway. I'm going to leave it there anyway. I'm going to do that awkward bit now at the end where I wave and then it just doesn't disappear. I will see you later, guys.